What is good, y'all? Welcome to Let's Cap. I'm your host, Ronald Cabang, also known as Youcapper from Sportsmemo.com at Youcapper Sports on Twitter. Got my guy Chris be capping. We're here with me today on Monday. We got two games on the NBA playoffs tonight. We got the Celtics Sixers. We got the Suns and the Nuggets here. Round two is finally here, Chris. Man, it's been a up and down. I mean, I started pretty hot in the playoffs, cooled down last week like 3 days straight where I couldn't get a winning day. And then this weekend, yesterday I went two and two, but overall on the weekend a positive day, so a positive weekend. So hopefully we just continue going. Just playoffs in general has been positive, so hopefully we just continue cashing in that way. I mean, these little runs happen, but overall, as long as we cashed more tickets than not, then we're good. How's your NBA playoffs have been, Chris?
Yeah, I think I think you summed it up pretty well for me as well. I think that the difference is just the timing for both of us. Like I felt like we both started off hot, and then I think I got colder a little bit before. I got a little cold before you did. Where I
All
had
right.
like 2 or 3 days in a row where I wasn't profitable. But then the weekend was really profitable for me.
Yeah.
Outside of Golden State losing at home on Friday, Saturday I went. I think I went 1-0, gave out the under. And then yesterday, no, I gave out the over in Denver and in Phoenix the first game
Yeah.
one, and then yesterday was a 2-0 day. I took a live play on Golden State and Sacramento to go under at the end of the
Mhm.
first quarter, and I took the under for the full game. So it was a it was a really good weekend for me.
Yeah,
Hopefully we
yeah.
can keep it going.
Yesterday, man, like so like I said, I went two and two yesterday. I took care of business in that Warriors game. I had the Warriors to win on the money line, and then I had the under in that game too. After the first quarter, I did take it live, but I didn't. I mean, obviously, I couldn't give that out to clients. But the other one was the Knicks. Man, they took care of business in the first half. I had the Knicks, and then I had the Knicks team total over. That third quarter was terrible for them, and that's what killed that game overall. But hopefully we get some tickets today. I know we kind of briefly talked about it before the show here that you might not be too strong on anything today, but let's try to break them down though. Let's go into this first game here, the Sixers and the Celtics. I'll share my screen. Uh, did you get a chance to look at stuff at all?
Yeah,
Or
no, I
okay.
looked at a lot of stuff in both of the games I see. It just feels like for one, you know how I am about injury report stuff, and Joel Embiid is been listed
Yeah.
as doubtful, and he was at shoot around today. So I was telling you, I think that there's a potential that Doc could be doing a little gamesmanship, man, and could potentially put him in at the last minute. And
Yeah.
just because he hasn't been ruled out, I feel like I not super strong on anything I want to do because
Mhm.
probably the MVP. He's going to get it probably tomorrow night. And, we know how much of an impact he has, but, MVP type player like Embiid, significant, and I think the handicap has to be different without him, being a part. So being a
Yeah.
part or being without being a part. So, yeah, I kind of, I'm in church sitting on the sideline this one, I see.
Yeah, man. When I was looking at it yesterday, so he was doubtful, but I was kind of scared too, as far as if he's going to end up playing. Then this morning we get news that he's at the shoot around. I did just right before the show, I did see the clip of how he was shooting. He was very like slow, like he was ginger on his feet, barely moving. He was kind of just standing there in the same spot, slowly shooting. And I don't know, man. It seems like he may not play. If he does play, he'll probably be limited, right? Because man, he just didn't look good at all. Even though when he was just simply standing there and shooting. But we look at the Sixers without Joel Embiid this season. They have done pretty well, right? 12-5 straight up, 12-5 against the spread, 10-7 to the over. You can see that their average score 117.1 in those games. I believe their team total today was 101 last night, and then this morning right before the triple double show I seen it at 102 and a half. So it has come up a little bit. um but I can only look in that direction, Chris. If you look at it here, if we just look at these games here, you can see majority of these games they've gone over their team total. We see a couple OT games, but I mean this one likely have they went over in regulation. But um just that's just the only way that I could look. If you go a little bit further and we say that they're playing a team with a winning record, right? So over 50%. 6-1 straight up, 6-1 against the spread there, and you could see pretty much every game over their team total except for this one here against the Nets. But they didn't really have to do much in that game. This was in the playoffs too, in the first round against the Nets there. So I just can only look in that direction. The other thing too is a league wide trend. Did you have a look towards? I mean, sort of like a lean towards the full game spread at all?
Yeah, it would definitely be taking the points with Philly. I just feel
Okay.
like Boston. I looked at this RC, and I was just kind of looking at what you said, but I
Yeah.
looked at Boston off a win because they've been one of them teams that's been kind of teetering back and forth throughout
Just this
the.
season?
Nah. Going back to last season, I don't think
Oh,
it's a Joe Mazzulla thing. I think it's a mindset thing. And I talked about this after they lost Game 5 and Atlanta pushed them into Game 6. If you look at them off a loss in the playoffs, they're like 9-10 straight up and against the spread. They're only winning those games by average of I think it's like 1 or 2 points. So yeah, change it to 2021. I see, and
oh,
you and
okay.
you'll see like they just don't. It's just not a high, um, you
Wait,
know.
P. Or you talking about the Sixers? Oh, wait, sorry. Who you looking at?
No, I was
Oh,
I was talking.
my bad. PL? Is that what you're looking for?
Nah, I was looking for. Nah, hold on. Celtics previous. Now it should be previous loss. I just want to look at them off a loss in the players, and I feel like you had it right, but I looked at something that was totally different. They just been kind of teetering back and forth, is what I saw. I think it was nine
Okay.
and ten. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick, because I'm pretty sure I did it right. But anyway, keep going. Actually, I'll come back
Okay.
to that
Oh yeah,
point.
so there's a league wide trend that I've seen. Let's see, season greater than or equal to 2016. And last night when I was doing my analysis on this game, it was at 10, and some books even had it at 10.5. So what I looked at was round greater than or equal to 2, so second round or greater, and the line was double digit favorite at the time, line or equal. So double digit favorites in round two or greater. 15-2 straight up, 6-10-1 against the spread, 12-5 to the over. So this to me says, I don't think the Sixers will win this game, but this line is large enough for them to cover that spread, even though they don't win. And then also that team total over as well. I think that's what I was kind of pushing for. For the most part, a lot of these teams are going over their team total. I think there's only 11-6 to the team total over for the opponent, and that would point towards the Sixers getting it done on their side of the ball. If you look at here, we go back to the Sixers and sorry, the 2022 team equals Celtics and PO. Oops. You look at the last four games for the Celtics too. Look at how much they were giving up to the Hawks um, over their team total, like 8 points, at least 8 points or greater on the opponent team total over. So their defense has been lacking a little bit here. We know that without Embiid, the Sixers tend to push pace, right? They have a little bit of quicker pace with them. So that's the reason why I like the Sixers team total to go over, whether or not they cover this large spread. But I would lean towards the Sixers. What do you think about that team total overlook?
I think the first thing that kind of to play devil's advocate, I think the first thing that jumps out to me I see is just the pace that both of these teams play with. I think that's one of the reasons why the total's so low is
Yeah,
because Atlanta played with so much pace. They wanted to get out and run every single chance that they got. And for the Sixers, I think they're gonna try to. You would think that they try to play a little bit faster, but the Celtics defense at home specifically has been a lot better. A lot of their games at home, went under because they were one of the only I think it was two teams in the NBA that was ranked top 5 and top 10 in
yeah,
defensive rating. So I think that's the only thing that kind of scares me is if this game does become a slow paced game because the Sixers don't necessarily want to get out and run with Boston. They try to
yeah.
slow the pace down a little bit, which we really haven't seen too much throughout the season. But I just don't think that I'm interested, what Doc tries to do with the offense, right? Like, do they try to play a little bit faster? Because I feel like that's kind of playing into Boston's hands. So that scares me a little bit. I see they also just played extremely slow against the Brooklyn Nets.
Mhm.
So that part is scary. Also taking a look, I was on cleaning the glass earlier. I see, and I looked at the Sixers this year without Joel Embiid on the floor, and they were a plus 8.5 in point differential, but their offense only averaged 107.8 points per 100 possessions. And defensively, they were really good. They ranked in the 98th percentile. They only allowed 99.3 points per possession,
Mhm.
and held teams to 50% shooting. They also, surprisingly enough, ranked nine in the 90th percentile as far as offensive rebounding. So they did a really good job of limiting teams from shooting free throws, getting offensive rebounds in this spot, and playing pretty good defense. Like I said, only 99.3 points per possession. So all of those things, just by looking at this and what you're talking about,
Yeah.
makes me, my strongest look would be taking the points with the Sixers in this spot. Also,
Uh-huh.
the trend that I was talking about, RC, we had it right. We just put previous loss. That's when you want to back Boston. You want to
Yeah.
fade them off a previous win. So we had it right. We just had I think we had a L instead of a W. So if you
Oh,
look at the
gotcha. Okay.
Celtics, yeah, if you look at them off a win in the playoffs, that's when they become extremely consistent. It's almost like they're just not focused and locked in that spot.
Mhm.
You can see they only winning by those games by average of less than a point. But if you change it to off a loss, then that's when you want to back them. They play really really well off a loss. And I don't think they're going to lose this game, but I just think it's a few minute points for a team that's rested, had a lot of time to kind of game plan for this this Sixers this Boston Celtics team.
Yeah. I man. But do you see anything from a proper perspective? So first, real quick, I just want to ask you: do you think Embiid plays?
I honestly I don't know. I see, like, it wouldn't surprise me, but that's why I didn't play the game, because if he like, it'd be classic, like, manipulation of the injury report. And I think it's something to say that, like, for I think the large mass, like the large quantity of people are see probably think that Joel Embiid wasn't going to play, right? Because of everything that's been happening. Every 8 days ago, when they wrapped up the series against the Brooklyn Nets, the first thing that came out from Doc Rivers' mouth is, even if we had a game 5, Joel Embiid probably wouldn't play. And then
Mhm.
it was reports that he may not play again in the playoffs, right? Like, it's that bad.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like, he's been listed as doubtful every single day since then. Why not just rule him out? Why
yeah,
is
yeah,
he
yeah.
around? You know what I mean? That's where my mind goes to.
That's
Like,
what that
like
that's that J injury manipulation.
that's my point. Like what are we still waiting for? So just
Yeah,
because
yeah,
there's opportunity, to me it feels like rule him out if he's not gonna play. Like, let's not wait until 2 minutes before the game. So
yeah.
that's why, like I said, I can't. He means that much to the spread, to player props, to everything. So I didn't really dive too deep in, because I just kind of feel like there's an opportunity that he does play. I see.
Gotcha. Well, for me, I just feel like even if he does play, he just looks so he doesn't look good at all. Like I said, it was just shoot around. He basically just standing there, shooting, and he still just looked really slow. Like he could barely move, or get off his feet at all. But we know he's a set shooter anyway, so it's
I was
not
gonna
like he
say
has to jump. Yeah.
I was gonna say, actually, what do you think about this? So you think, based on the video you saw, you think Joel Embiid being back today hurts the team more than it helps the team, or what's your
I
assessment
definitely
on that?
think so, dude. I really do. I really do think so. And that's why I'm hoping he doesn't play, because I feel like the pace, at least we know if he doesn't play, we know what type of ball the Sixers are gonna play, right? So I don't like the fact that he was at shoot around, but if I feel like he's not gonna play based off of that video and based off what information I have, then I think this number, he's probably going to move up a little bit, like 10 and a half or whatever, back to 10 or 10 and a half, what we saw last night. Then you get a chance to get the Sixers in a better number. Um, and then also the other piece too, if you do like that team total over on the Sixer side, I mean, that's the way that I would look. Then it would be wise to just wait, right? Because then your team total will come down back to the 101 that I saw last night as well. The maxi prop that yeah, John Bell sees it here, but Matt from Triple Double, my co-host there, he mentioned that maxi points prop was at 23 and a half, and we look at how maxi has done without Embiid this season. I know Stat Muse has locked past 10 games, but the last 10 games this season with Maxi in and Embiid out, he's gone over to 23 and a half in 8 of those games. So it would probably be the way to go if you're looking at from a prop perspective. He's getting a lot of usage. You see how many shots he's able to put up in those games. So he's definitely going to get the usage if Embiid is confirmed out. So prop perspective, I would look in that direction. Let's go on to the next game here. Or actually, do you have any last comment? Yeah, for real.
That's what I was laughing at. I see. I was
Yeah,
laughing
yeah.
at when.
And LJ said Derek White over 21.5 PRA, averaging 24 in the playoffs. That's a good look there too. I like that.
Yeah. No other comments from me on this one. I said we can move on to the next one if you're ready.
All right, let's get it. Let's go to the Suns and the Nuggets here. Sure, I already forgot what you were saying before the show, but I was looking towards the Nuggets here. I just feel like I talked about this in like some series previews that I think the rotation, both of these rotations are like 8 men deep, right? But the difference between the two teams is the three guys coming off of the bench for the Nuggets, they're able to put a pretty decent amount of minutes, like 20 plus minutes. So that gives the starters some rest. So we're not seeing KD Joker and Murray putting up 43 plus minutes a game like the Suns did in the first round. Because if you see the minutes distribution with the Sun side, KD and Booker were both in the top of minutes played per game in the playoffs, 43 minutes each. And then Chris Paul, obviously, he was, I think, at 38 minutes, which was like also in the top 15 players. So their rotation is about the same eight players deep, but the minute distribution is where that gap is. And I think in a set where I think it's going to be a 7-game series, the Nuggets will have the advantage the longer this series goes. If you look at the matchups this season specifically between these two teams, right? We go Nuggets equals Suns. So far in the matchups, the home teams have won. The home teams have won. That means if that continues, Game 7 is going to be in Denver, and that's where they should be able to take advantage. So that was the way that I was looking as far as the series play. But overall today, I was kind of looking towards the Nuggets to go over their team total again. If you look at it at home in this matchup, all three games 125, 126, 128. Their team total is 116 and a half today. I can definitely see that happening whether or not they cover or win. I just that's the way that I would look. Do you think we know post game interview, right? Where the Suns were talking about how they're gonna have to come into this game playing physical, right? The other piece of it is if you look at their game on Saturday and we look at the amount of free throws, man, I wish this had the breakdown, but they had 32 combined free throw attempts in that game one. And if Phoenix is to come in this game to be more fit to play physical, there might be more free throw attempts. And also, I think they talked about possibly playing a quicker pace as well against this team. So a lot of things really are pointing towards the over. And for me, more specific, the Nuggets team total over, because I just like their offense when they're at home. What are your thoughts on this game here?
Yeah, I think I think one of the things you said, RC, is definitely true. Like Phoenix is definitely going to try to be a little more physical. They talked about it a lot with with Jamal Murray. He cooked them in game one,
Yeah.
and I think he's debuting his new shoe. We don't take that into our capping, but
Who
he
is?
is Jamal Murray's
Oh,
the
gotcha.
debuting his new. I think called the spin cycle, named
Mhm.
after this one his pet move. So. He's debuting the shoe, and I think they do try to rough him up just a tad bit. But I see pace in this game too. I haven't played this game at all, but if I had to look, I think I'd be looking towards the over. The Suns shot 50% from the field in game one. They were plus 12 in points in the paint. They were plus 3 in fast break points, and they were plus 11 in points off turnovers, and still lost the game by 18 points. Denver took 101 shots, and they shot
Yeah.
47% from the field, 16 to 37 from the 3-point line, 43%. Denver was also plus 11 in rebounds and doubled the Suns in offensive rebounds, 16 to 8. And they had 14 steals compared to just 4 for the Phoenix Suns. So, if anything, I think we still continue to see, really good shooting. I think, both teams make, what they think is going to be necessary adjustments. I just don't know if Denver is going to be able to slow down Phoenix the way they did in the last game. They held this
Yeah.
Phoenix team to 107 points, I see. So if
Yeah.
anything, and they shot 50% from the field. The Suns shot 50% from the field and still was held to, only 107 points. So if anything, I see more points in this game. I think it's probably from both sides.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think Phoenix will make some adjustments, and it won't necessarily be 100% Jamal Murray, but Jokic didn't shoot the ball that well in the last game, and they got other guys that can step up and play a little bit better. So I don't really want to pick a side in this one. I lean towards the Suns, but I don't want to fade Denver at home right now. So
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
want to play
Yeah.
don't want to play the side. I think playing the total will probably be the best look, just with teams kind of making some adjustments, and like you said, the pace is supposed to increase just a tad bit. So and the fouls, right, also increase a tad bit.
I'm expecting a lot of fouls to be called today with especially if it holds true that Phoenix does play a little bit more physical. The issue is we don't know who they're gonna call those fouls on, right? Is Aiden gonna be more physical and draw Joker to get into foul trouble? That's the issue. But I think just for the most part, a lot of things are really just pointing towards at least the Nuggets to go over their team total. I know Phoenix should be able to bounce back offensively here. Um, so the full game over makes a lot of sense as well. Here's one thing that I looked at. So we go. Oh well, since I'm here, so Nuggets at home. You talked about not wanting to fade the Nuggets at home. 28-7 at home, 28-16-1 against the spread at home as well. I know they didn't cover this last game here, or the one that was the last game of the series, right?
Yeah,
Nuggets,
that
yeah.
was game
So
5.
they
Yeah,
didn't cover that
closeout
one,
game.
obviously, but for the most part in the playoffs, they've been doing a pretty good job of doing that. The other piece too, though, if you go at home and then we say they're the home favorite after winning uh second game at home. This is one that we looked at before. Is that it? All right, so we go back and say they're coming off a home win, right? 20-3, 15-7-1. So the way that I look at it, and we talked about this during the regular season, Chris, is when they're at home for multiple games, they get really comfortable there, and their offense tends to get a little bit better. The longer the longer the stretch is at home, and so I like looking at them as far as uh you know playing the consecutive home games. That's why I like to back them in that situation. But if you look at the Suns as road dogs, and specifically after the All-Star break, 0-7 straight up, 0-6-1 against the spread, 6-1 to the over. And you can see I talked about the Nuggets team total over, right? So whether or not we get a bounce back from the Suns, I still feel like the Nuggets are going to be able to get what they want offensively, and that's why I was kind of looking in that direction. The other thing too, if you look at from a league wide perspective, right? So we'll go to season greater than or equal to 2006. So this is a long term league wide trend. Um, round greater than or equal to round in game 2. Oh, it's not my bad. So series game equals 2. Round equals 2. So we have second game in the second round, and the home team. There you go. So this says since 2006, the second game in the second round, the home favorites who are coming off of a home favorite win that they cover the spread in, 22-8 straight up, 20-10 against the spread, 17-13 to the over. Obviously, these totals are a little bit misleading because of back in the day we don't see totals like we do now. So the average combined score probably not nothing to look at really. But for the most part, we know that the last 4 instances in modern basketball, basically these home favorites are going over their team total and covering the last 4 instances. I just feel like that's the way that I have to go in this one and just follow the Nuggets here. Nuggets team total over, probably the full game over as well, just based off of matchup and current form as well. League wide trends also saying that it would be in that direction as well. Anything to add on this one, Chris, like from a player prop perspective, or just anything that I just brought up?
I mean, what you said makes a lot of sense. I hadn't really thought about it from like who covered, if the home favorite covered game 1, then do they cover game 2? I also think one thing that you mentioned out, like with the lower totals, we also just haven't seen a lot of players. You can go both sides of the ball. A player with the efficiency that Jokic has on one
Yeah.
side, and like him having all his guys, and then
Hmm.
on the opposite side, we haven't seen too many offenses have the masterminds of Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant. So I like I said, I cashed on the over on Saturday. It did get kind of close towards the end,
Yeah.
but I think I just see more points because in the last series, RC Phoenix, they didn't do a good job of slowing down the Clippers. The Clippers, pretty much got whatever it is that they wanted, no matter what adjustments that the Suns made in that
Yeah.
series, and they had to kill them. They had to beat them with their offense. And I think it's going to be the same thing here again today. Like the Nuggets have a lot of offensive weapons. Aaron Gordon can hit threes.
Hmm.
KCP's in the corner; he can hit threes. Bruce Brown is a facilitator when he comes in the non-Jokic minutes. And we know what Jokic and Jamal Murray can do, so I didn't even mention those guys. But I just feel like the Suns gonna win this game. I see it's gonna be because I don't see them playing defense to win the game. Just put it like that. So
Yeah. Yeah. For
so,
sure.
so I think it's
Yeah.
points. RC. I think you're onto something with that. The team total over, or at least the over for the full game. And if I had to
Full game.
play it,
Yeah.
that's probably the way I would look.
So it's gone up from. Sorry, it's kind of small. Let me zoom in a little bit. So it has gone up from 228.5 to 229. The spread has gone down from 4.5 to 4. I just feel like maybe the full game over is a little bit better than the spread. Is that what you're kind of thinking?
Yeah, absolutely. I see. The reason why I say that is because I'm not gonna fade Phoenix like in what I think is a desperation spot, even though I think Denver, does have potential to cover and win this game.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's gonna be points scored either way, right? Like I don't think this is gonna be some kind of defensive game. Even though Denver did play, pretty solid defense in the last game. I just feel like it's too much offense on the floor. And to hold the Suns to 107 points 2 games in a row, that's speaking extremely high of your
Mhm.
defense in my estimation, because the if you go back and look at the Nuggets, RC, they held the Timberwolves to like 109 points in that closeout game, and we know that the Suns' offense is way better than that Timberwolves offense. We
Yeah.
would think, right? So they did a really good job, with all of their game planning and their strategies for the game. But I just feel like Coach Monty Williams and his coaching staff gonna make some adjustments as well. And even though it's more physical doesn't necessarily mean defense.
Yeah.
And hold on, let's say this RC too as well. More physical could mean more free throws,
Yep.
and it could
Yeah.
mean even if they get out and they get the steals and the refs aren't calling them, or they get in the blocks and the refs aren't calling them, they just get out and run in transition. So either way, it's more points. So
Yeah.
I don't think it gets more physical from a we won't see as many points. I think if anything, Phoenix scores close to more points than they scored in the last game, and Denver probably scores close to what they scored in the last game as well. And the total didn't move that much, so I like the
Yeah.
over more than anything. I think.
Gotcha. Yeah, that God, I'm kind of going back and forth with that team total over and then the full game over. Might just do what I normally do, just split that unit in half and just do it that way. But it makes sense. Like it seems like both teams should be go over their team total, in my opinion. Especially if we expect a bounce back on the Phoenix side. I really do think that there's going to be a lot more free throws in this game here. We talk about the refs and how they adjust from game to game, more so in the playoffs than in the regular season. So if we know that they only had 32 combined free throws, and we are expecting one team to be a lot more physical, I'm definitely thinking that there's going to be a lot more free throws. And when players get into foul trouble, their defense start to slack, right? Because they don't want to get into they don't want to continue getting into foul trouble. So that's going to leave open shots, and then especially from the mid range where KD, Booker, and Chris Paul are gonna kind of take over in that area. So that's it. I'm probably not gonna touch anything from a prop perspective in this game.
Let me
Any
let me talk about a few props real quick, RC.
All right, go ahead.
Just some stuff I actually was jotting this stuff down as I was watching the game the other day. So let me get to my notes real quick. The first thing I was looking at that feels like you pretty much gotta play it is Jokic rebounds. Like this dude gobbles up rebounds, and right now, honestly, I think the line is sitting at, and this isn't anything that I played yet. I'm probably going to end up playing these. I actually forgot about them. I'm glad we did the show. 13 and a half. I know it's a pretty high number, but Jokic,
Yeah.
and that's actually juiced. Minus 125, at least where the sports book I'm looking at right now. And
Yeah.
Jokic, he dominated them on the glass last game. We talked about this, RC. I think you mentioned it the other day. The game that Jokic played against Aiden earlier this season. having
Oh, yeah,
15
yeah.
rebounds, right? And then, the line's sitting at 13 and a half right now. I don't remember how many rebounds he finished with in the first game, but I want to say it was a lot. Let me see.
I remember. So
Yeah,
that
he had
one game that he
19.
played, the one game he played against Phoenix was Christmas Day, 41, 15, and 15,
Mm-hmm.
a triple double. He almost got that triple double. If he in this one here, I just feel like if he played heavier minutes, he would have got that triple double. And then if we look at them against in the playoffs in that game there, I mean, he didn't get the assist, but I don't think he really needed to because Murray was balling, just individually. So, I mean, there's not only just rebounds. Do you feel like he should get his an uptick in assists as well?
He could. He could. Yeah, I think assists are a little bit harder to come by in the playoffs, I see, because you see teams kind of lock, try to take away your advantages. So if
Yeah,
they made him more of a scorer today, it really wouldn't surprise me much. So I don't think I would look, to kind of pivot towards the assist to go with it. But
yeah,
I could definitely see it hitting, because the thing is with Jokic is when you take his rebounds plus assists, he could go over, six rebounds, and you just you cash both either way. So
yeah,
so
yeah,
I couldn't talk you off of it at all. I see. I got one
yeah.
more I want to talk about when you get
Yeah, go
done
ahead.
too.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. So the next one is KD. I was watching him. He has to be a real rim protector. I see. The dude's taller than DeAndre Ayton, first of all. And I just watched the defensive intensity that he played with. He finished with 3 blocks in the last game.
Yeah.
His blocks right now are 1.5. You can get at plus one. Forgive me for not having this up. Plus 162. I see, for him to have 2 blocks in this game. So I think him, being a rim protector is definitely something worth looking into. Maybe you don't want to put a full unit on it, but plus 162 odds for KD to have 2 blocks. He's going to play
Yeah.
45 minutes. We know that. Desperation spot, not trying to go down 0-2. I think that's absolutely in play today as well. And I would probably look at his stocks as well. I see he said so he
Yeah,
finished
I was
last
just gonna
game with
ask
3
you that too.
blocks,
Okay. Yeah.
1 steal in the last game, but before that in the Clippers series, he only had 1 block, 1 steal, 0 blocks, 0 steals, 0 blocks, 2 steals, 2 and 1, 2 and 1 when it comes to blocks and steals. So I just feel like it's a little value on him to get 2 blocks tonight, especially with him having to play rim protector.
Yeah.
If Jokic moves out, if Coach Mike Malone moves Jokic outside of the paint
Hmm.
and like orchestrates the offense from top of the key, then it'll be a lot of backdoor cuts, and KD will be the one coming over to kind of swat some of those things away, and that's what he did
Gotcha.
in the last game.
I like it. I like that. So the steals plus blocks, is that 3.5? Is it still plus money at that
I gotta,
number?
I gotta find it. I see. Let me check another book real quick, because on the book I was looking at only has steals or blocks, so they did. I
Mhm.
didn't have a combination, but I can find it for you real quick.
Okay. What do you think about Booker over 29 and a half? Um, I think if anyone's gonna take over this game for the Suns, it might be KD, in my opinion. Just based off of what I saw in game one. KD looked a little bit more efficient. I just don't know if they I don't know who's gonna be able to guard KD on the Nugget side. Booker, they can throw a few guys at him, like you just based off of a matchup and who's on the court. So I would think for the most part, I would say KD would be the more likely guy to go over his points. Um, did you find it, Chris?
Yeah, so 1.5, 2.5 RC is the blocks plus steals. It's plus 155. So just a combination of 2 blocks, 1 steal, 2 steals, 1 block, whatever the case might be, 3 blocks like he had
Yeah,
last game.
I would say that
But
one would be better, pretty because he can get 2 steals and 1 block in instead, right? And then he can,
absolutely, yeah, no, I would
yeah,
agree. I would agree. I didn't look into this line, at first, but yeah, that definitely has little bit more value, I think, in my estimation.
yeah. Plus what? Plus what?
Plus 155
I like that one.
blocks and steals, yeah. And as far as what you was talking about, I would also lean towards KD as well. I think he just has the better advantage when you think about guys that the Suns can kind of
Mhm.
that Denver can throw at when who can you throw at KD versus who can you throw at Devin Booker. To me, it just feels like with KCP and Christian Brown being out there, Bruce Brown, those guys have a better chance of guarding slowing down somebody like Devin Booker versus
For
slowing
sure.
down somebody like
Yeah,
KD. So
because
I would
Bruce
agree
Brown
with
has
you.
always been a pretty good defender
Mhm.
overall, and he's
KCP too, yeah,
yeah,
and Christian
KCP.
Brown's doing a really good job as well in his first year. So I would agree with you there. It might have to be a game where, but they've been doing a lot of trapping, so that's why I'm probably gonna stay away from the points. Like I went back and watched the game; they did a lot of trapping to get the balls out of those guys' hands and just have them kind of swing it. Both of them are unselfish; they're not gonna force anything.
Yeah,
So they were trapping at the 3-point line, so they couldn't even necessarily get to a shot where they wanted to kind of pull up. So
yeah,
it's difficult trying to pick one of those guys that's gonna score.
love it. All right, well, that's the two games, Chris. We broke them down pretty detailed. We were at the 35-minute mark on just two games alone. That means, we did a lot of research here. We did a lot of research, and we've been able to share all that information that we found. Let's get to the top looks and best bets or closing comments here. I know you haven't bet anything yet, but let the people know what you want to provide, what kind of information you want to drop for them.
Yeah, so first game, Philly and Boston, game one tonight. Don't know the status of Joel Embiid, even though he is listed as doubtful right now. I would take the points. If Joel Embiid does get ruled out, I would take the points with the Philadelphia 76ers not trusting this Boston team, even in a game one where they have the clear advantage. I think it's just too many points. So that's the way I would look in that game. Also, slight lean towards the under. I know you were talking about the over for their points, RC, but I would lean towards the under for the full game. I just think Boston being at home, their defense, plays better at home. I think they could come out a little lethargic as well, especially if Joel Embiid is ruled out. Maybe not get their best effort, and that's what the trend kind of shows off a win for them. They're 9 and
Yeah,
10 straight up and against the spread. And then in the last game, I would definitely be looking towards the over. Both teams shot the ball well. Like I said, Denver shot 101 times in the last game. I think both teams want to kind of get out and run in transition. Neither team wants to play against the other team's set half-court defense, I see. So
mhm.
the physicality could lead to more free throws, which is what you mentioned. It also could lead to a lot of transition buckets. So I would lean towards the over in that game, but I don't necessarily want to play the side. Probably won't get involved with the side at all. But I do think that the over is in play after Denver only scored. Denver allowed Chet Phoenix offense down 107 points with those three prolific scores on that side. So I see points in this game. Don't see as much defense. Not confident in Phoenix playing defense at all. I see.
Yeah, I like it. And so with that said, on that game specifically, that Nuggets, I do like the team total over, also the full game to go over as well. Um, the Sixers Celtics game, I still do like the team total over. I feel like the pace. I know you mentioned like Celtics defense is a little bit better at home, but at the same time, they've already adjusted that total to be low enough, right? And we're just asking the Sixers to score 102. And I feel like they could do that, especially with if Embiid is out for sure. Their pace does go up. I mean, we know that for sure. I think it's like it moves from like 95 to like 97 and a half or close to 98 as far as pace. So the opportunities are there. They're gonna run. It's just a matter of are they going to be able to make their shots? And we know the Celtics, the last four games of that series against the Hawks, you touched on it. The Hawks did push pace, and if that's the same thing the Sixers are going to do in this matchup today without Embiid, then we should expect sort of like a similar outcome, right? Whether they win or lose, we feel like the points are going to be scored. So I would look towards the Sixers team total over, also towards them to cover the large spread, right? If you don't think Embiid plays, then just wait because you're gonna get better numbers, right? If you think he does play, then I think he's gonna be limited even if he does play, just based off of the video that I saw during shoot around. So those would be the ways that I go. I might look into that KD two and a half blocks and steals as well. Are you gonna take that one officially or?
I'm probably gonna take it. See, I'm gonna look into it a little bit more as well. But it was like I said, I was looking more so at the blocks. I've just seen them like pinning stuff against the glass, and I'm like, well, it
Yeah,
kind of makes sense, right? Like because they don't really have anybody. They don't have a rim protector, and we know what KD was doing. We know what he's capable of on the defensive end, RC. But we also, if you think back to his series that he played in the playoffs when he was on the Golden State Warriors, his defense really picked up a lot in those series. Now I probably go back and check those numbers because
yeah.
I want to see like comparable playoff numbers. But I just think he brings it a little bit on the defensive end tonight. Not necessarily, thinking it's gonna go under, but I think the blocks could definitely be there. And I would look at the steals plus blocks because he could easily get a
Two
poke out,
steals.
and
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
easier. Like you said, I think you made a good point in taking the steals plus blocks because even if he gets the 3 blocks, you cash,
Mhm.
and if he gets 2 steals and 1 block, you cash as well. So
Yeah.
I think I like that number a little bit more. I see.
Yeah, and I think if Phoenix is gonna be more physical as well, and they try to double Joker down low, he's gonna have to push that ball out right to the perimeter. There's opportunity with KD's length to kind of get his hands on the ball to get the steals there. So I like that. All right, so Chris, man, that's the end of the show. What I don't know what your schedule is like for the rest of the week, but we'll touch on whether or not you can make any more shows this week. But that is the end of the show, guys. Thanks to all who tuned in, both on YouTube and on Twitter, and also those who are on Chris's page as well. You can see that his channel also shows my show. Obviously, it's when he's on. It just benefits us both here. But make sure you guys check out the links in the description as well. If you're over on my side, make sure you check out Chris's page, his spaces after the show at around like 2 o'clock, 2:30, if I remember correctly, Pacific Standard. But I always want to end the show like this. Please remember, whether you fade us or follow us, it is on you guys to make that call. Good luck with our reaction. Till next time, peace.